Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I would like to start my presentation with the introduction. Digital preservation is the process of digitizing information material to make those material easily accessible and usable over a long period of time. The second one is digital preservation is also created to protect and minimize the risk of archival material from deterioration. Then, digital preservation can help in making strategic decisions in its digital preservation service and can consider it records the overall life cycle, including the pre-preservation stage in the archive and access and use record in the archive. Digital preservation is a method of preserving important material from physical form to digital form. The first objective of this proposal is to ensure digital preservation become a process aimed at ensuring the continuous accessibility of information by user in a digital manner. Preservation involves maintaining balance and providing lasting reference to archival material digitally. The second objective is to implement appropriate standards and best practice for digital preservation in organization according to the age of technology. The preservation of archival material digitally may not be familiar to some organization. However, digital preservation is very important to be realized by every organization and need to apply the skill to handle digital archival material preservation to employees in the organization so that it can be used in every organization and in line with modern technology today. The third objective is to ensure easy and secure access to archival material. Digital preservation must control appropriate digital material, ensure archival material is easily understood by user, and the information must be authentic and accurate. Next is the problem statement. The first one is lack of awareness about digital preservation. Some organizations are not yet aware of the importance of digital record preservation and access. The sophistication of modern technology today can help an organization to preserve record and material that have value in a digital way. The second one is lack of practicality to preserve and manage record digitally. The lack of professionals in the field of record who have no experience in managing records digitally result in a lack of digital record keeping being carried out. The third one is digital preservation to prevent material from being damaged. This is because records have important value and should be managed and maintained in the right way. Digital record keeping is an important element in the entire records program. The last one is storage problem to keep physical materials. In the process of record keeping for an organization, storage space is an important thing because to keep the record of an organization, the record storage space must be spacious and suitable to accommodate many physical records.
So in this part, I will be presenting about the purpose of digital preservation. So according to INIL 2018, explained that there are several purposes of doing digital preservation. The first one is to maintain and ensure the records containing important history are kept neatly and secure. Secondly, to reduce the occurrence of record damage caused by several factors such as natural disaster or damage from human action. Thirdly, to reduce the use of record keeping areas, because this type of digital records are mostly stored in digital form, and this type of record are easily accessible without taking long time to access. The fourth one is as a backup of original records in the event of a problem involving the loss of original record. The fifth one, or the last one, digital preservation also provide easy access to the user who want to access to the archive material.
Now, I will continue this presentation with role and responsibilities. Firstly, I will explain what is the role and responsibilities of Board of Director. The responsibility of Board of Director is to discuss and plan how to establish the digital preservation of Petromas. Besides that, they will give instruction to the archivist, record manager, and also specialists to done the preservation program. Next, the role and responsibility of archivists in this program is to handle appraisal and storage all the record exists in Petromas. Besides that, archivists also need to do a preservation to all record to ensure that any damage that occur to the record can be resolved. The archivist will ensure that all physical record that have been converted to the digital record will be stored properly. Record manager also has a roles and responsibility in this program, which the record manager need to analyze which record need to undergo a preservation process to ensure that the condition of the record can be stored as before. The record manager will be responsible for managing the transmission of record from a Petromas subsidiary to the Petromas organization. Next, I will explain what is responsibility of metadata specialist, which is the responsibility is to collect and verify all the record that has been collected from the subsidiaries Petromas and also Petromas organization. It also responsible to assisting the process of transferring record that has been undergone a digital preservation process. The preservation specialist also has responsibilities in this program, which is the specialist is responsibility to assist in the collection. The specialist need to do a preservation of all the record contained in Petromas. Then, the specialists need to carry out a inventory process and carry out disposal process. Then, the specialist also has a responsibility to perform a digital preservation for the record. And lastly, record all the information about preservation of the record into the record preservation system of Petromas. Lastly, I will explain what is responsibility of technology specialist. The responsibility of IT specialist is to supporting the day-to-day operating computer network of Petromas. Besides that, the responsibility of IT specialist is to recover the data that has been lost because of technical problems such as server crash, virus, and so on. We continue this presentation with the scope. The scope of this program is to perform digital preservation for Petromas organization. This program is implemented to ensure that all record in Petromas that need to undergoing the preservation process can be properly managed. The program requires the cooperation of many parties in the Petromas organization to ensure that it can be run as planned. I will continue with the operation principle of this program. We have 4 principles, which is authenticity, access, cooperation, and also technologies. Firstly is authenticity. To establish digital preservation record procedure, the need to meet all archival requirements such as integrity and level of confidential of a record must be done. Next, the second principle is access. The preservation is implemented to ensure that record that has been undergone to process of preservation can be accessed in the long term. The third principle is collaboration. All parties must use their expertise in implementing the digital preservation program. The fourth principle is technologies. The use of technology in this program can help organization in producing a secure record keeping place. The technology also can use to improve the security level of the Petromas. Now, I will continue this presentation to selection and acquisition process. Petromas will conduct a selecting and acquisition process on all record. There are two categories of record exist in Petromas, which is physical record and digital records. They are record acquired from within the Petromas organization itself. In addition, they are also record acquired from Petromas subsidiaries. Because Petromas has many physical records, the preservation program is designed so that the preservation of the physical record can be made. Digital preservation is the best method of preservation nowadays. This is because if the record converted in digital form, it can make it easier for the organization to refer to the record in the future. In addition, record that has been converted in digital are not only stored for a long time but can also be used as a backup if something happened to the physical record. In addition, record acquired from Petromas subsidiary will also undergo a digital preservation process. Records sent to Petromas will be faced process of selection first to determine whether the record need to be preserved or not. Next, Petromas specialists will carry out their duties by ensuring that the record obtained have a continuous value or not. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Siti Fasehah and today I will continue the presentation. So, I will presenting about the access and use of digital preservation materials in our company, which is Petromas. The accessible of our digital preservation materials is using the digital platform, which is software where our company had developed a database system to keep all the digital materials inside the database to make sure our staff and all our users can use it easily. Other than that, the accessible of all the digital preservation materials is only inside the office, which is we had provided a special room which is staff can access all the preservation materials using the computer provided by the company, which is have a high level of security to make sure all the staff and the user are using the materials on the right purposes. But if the staff need to use the digital preservation materials out of the office, they can get permission from their supervisors to use on the right purposes. Other than that, our company had to face several challenges to preserving these digital materials. One of the challenge is this system is a little bit costly because we need to develop a new system to make sure we can keep all our preservation materials inside the system safely. Hence, we need to hire an expertise to make sure this system is at a high level security. Next, the challenge is we need to plan the operating software, which is usually the computer system will be updated 3 to 5 months because they need to backup all the data inside the system. Also, the other challenge that we need to face is the accessibility of the old files. Usually, there are the activity of migrating from the old files to the latest files. But there will happen where the latest system couldn't read those old files. And lastly, the other challenge that we need to face is the private and confidentiality. Because nowadays there is a lot of
hacking activity and also piracy activity, which threaten our digital preservation materials. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next is financial stability. Financial stability is defined as the ability of an organization to ensure that they have a stable finance to accommodate all types of activities performed within or outside the organization. So, the example of activities include the economic, social welfare, and as preparedness in the event of unforeseen situation. So, therefore, in designing this digital preservation, this aspect must be taken into account. Among the measures to ensure that this financial stability is applied is firstly is the institutional commitment. Institutional commitment is defined as the dedication of the repository to provide a sufficient budget for a program or project. For example, in this context is Petromas Digital Preservation Program. Petromas emphasizes the keeping of record from the Petromas company itself. There is therefore a need for financial allocation for this project that may be obtained from Petromas collaboration in partnership with other organizations. Secondly is equipment and facilities. The construction of digital preservation for Petromas archive also need to focus on financial issue in terms of equipment and facilities. The construction of digital archive use large-scale technology infrastructure such as computer facilities, scanners, software, hardware, and so on. Therefore, the repository needs to plan an adequate budget for all this construction that need. In addition, when involving the use of this high technology system, there is a need for safety technology for the device that can be used in the event of an unwanted incident. Therefore, an appropriate amount of budget should be applied to this section as well. Now we move to the security management and measurement. So because of the adverse effect of the use of digital technology should be taken seriously, because with the widespread use of technology that increase the possibility for cyber attacks or information theft. Therefore, we need a very good technology system that can maintain our collection. Therefore, there are several steps that should be taken in security management and measurement. The first one is information security. Information security is a practice of preventing unauthorized access, disclosure, disruption, alteration, inspection, recording, or destruction of information. Therefore, this archival material must be handled securely in accordance with the organization information security policy that protect against breach or theft. So when it comes to the use of ICT, it is very important to have an ICT team or technical team that maintains the archival preservation system. They must ensure that the system used is safe from attack or virus that can reveal the confidential information of this archival material. So among the security techniques that can be used when handling digital archive is to ensure its security is through encryption, access control, and redaction techniques. Now we move to the second step, which is disaster planning. Disaster planning is a comprehensive written plan that allows an institution to respond to an emergency efficiently and swiftly while minimizing damage to the structure and its content. So there are several main objectives of disaster planning. Among them is to ensure the safety of staff and archive facility. And when applying disaster planning as a security measure for the protection, there are 4 steps that need to be followed. It starts with prevention, preparedness, response, recovery, and all of these steps are complete while planning before, during, and after disaster.
In conclusion, digital preservation had eased our work to store all the data, and it had a lot of benefits to our preservation institution. But despite the benefits, there is also some challenges that we need to face it to make our company success in the future. That's all from us. Thank you.